What's going on, Washington fans? We're back with another video. Sorry that I couldn't be right on this. Normally when there's practice, I'm right on it recapping it. So sorry I was a little bit late, but we are here to recap the Commanders' day 14, I believe. Nobody knows the day of practice it was, besides the beat reporters. 13, 14, 15, I don't know. So I put day 14. I believe that is correct. So we're going to talk about that. Kliff Kingsbury pre-practice presser. We're going to review that. Dive into Whitt Jr.'s post-practice presser, and then we'll get into the play-by-play. So let's start with Kliff Kingsbury, what he had to say today. Before we do, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I cannot do it without you. Hit that notification bell as well. So first thing we're going to talk about is a little bit interesting. Jayden Daniels might have a photographic memory when recalling plays, says offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury. He said, first time we say it, he, Daniels, can tell you where everybody's going, what they're doing, their job, and so that's a God-given thing, not a coaching thing. And we talk about that all the time. That is talent, God-given talent, and these are what the best quarterbacks have. The best quarterbacks like Tom Brady, right? These guys have God-given talent. Some of the throws that they make are just that you cannot build that up and get skill on that. You cannot do that. I think Jayden Daniels has that. He's going to be a great. And so good to hear, he has a photographic memory, Kliff Kingsbury says. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, Kliff Kingsbury addressed the media about Terry. He said, basically, this offense is not going to get going until we get Terry, basically. Okay? So Grant Paulson said, basically after listening to Kliff Kingsbury, he said, I love that Kliff Kingsbury politely nudged Terry McLaurin to get to work. Somebody should, and DQ hasn't gotten close to doing that. McLaurin owes them a season still. I agree. I'm all for the holding out / in to get paid, but at some point you hurt your team for this season. It's time. Listen, I think it's definitely true. You're under contract. You have to play this season. The team has all the leverage, but at the same time, if you're not going to pay me what I want, I have the right to not play. I do. I'm gonna get fined tons of money, but I have the right not to play. If you want me on the field so desperately, sorry, if you're going to beg for me to come out on the field, if you're going to beg for me because you need me, then pay me. Then pay me the money I want, right? But I understand Adam Peters isn't going to budge. So, but Kliff Kingsbury basically said, it's time to get on the field. We have to get this chemistry working. And Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they said they lost chemistry last year when Jamar Chase was holding out and holding in. And they've been teammates since college. And so you don't think the guys that played one season together are going to lose chemistry? They are. But we also got a report from Linnell Willingham. He said that they've been throwing in the bubble every single day is what he's been hearing. Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. So if that's true, I'm not really worried. But I don't know if it's going to get done. But certainly hope it will. But, Kliff's going to be the one to kind of branch out and say, I'm the offensive coordinator. We're struggling without Terry. I need Terry to be at work. At the end of the day, you're under contract. At the end of the day, we don't have to pay you anything. If you are out of a contract and you're our best player, sure, yeah, we're going to extend you. If you're our best player and you're not on contract, but you have a job to do this season. So definitely agree with Kliff there. More on this situation here. Commanders offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury says there hasn't been a ton of contact with Terry McLaurin. He's been here, but he's been working with trainers. He says having time on task from last year should expedite getting him and Jayden Daniels reconnected when the time comes. It's going to be a long process, and this is why we have 3 weeks to do this, and we need to get it done this week. I'd love to see Monday Night Football, Jayden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, because Dan Quinn's already announced we're playing the starters Monday Night Football against the Bengals. It's coming up quick. So I would love, even if it's one drive at the most, I would love to see Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. One drive. Get the extension done. Or if you're not going to do it, tell him, I'm not going to give you an extension. Show up to work. Behind the scenes, you can tell him that. We're pushing it too much. I can't get the extension done. I'm not going to budge. I'm not going to go up to $32 million. I'm not going to pay you that. Can you please come to work? Can do that. We need him. Being in the building isn't enough. So Wouldn't the best game be at home, Monday Night Football, against a terrible Bengals defense, where we finally start to build that Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin relationship back up? That would be awesome. So, they need to build their relationship. They need to get back on the field. All right, somebody's got to say it. Kliff Kingsbury talked about the Commanders' wide receivers as he should. He says, some guys are taking advantage of the opportunities, and some guys are not. The competition has been good, but there's a lot to show over the next 3 weeks. No, it hasn't. It hasn't been good. Competition hasn't been good. Most of these guys are mid. Jacory Brooks, and he has youth. Like, he might end up ultimately getting that 6th roster spot at wide receiver. Like, youth might win out. And he also doesn't. He's had drops throughout practice, but in the preseason game, he didn't drop the ball. And he had the most yards out of any receiver, most receptions out of any receiver. So, Michael Gallup and KJ Osborne and Chris Moore, they drop the football a lot. They don't excite me. So, I don't know what's going to happen there ultimately, but you have a bunch of 30-year-olds who just really aren't good. Tay Martin was good. Big play Tay. As Ed Oliver says sometimes, big play Tay. He was good in the preseason game, but what does he do at practice? I've heard he's been pretty good. He was getting reps with the first team the other day. So, does he make the roster? I'd be fine with that. Braylon Sanders, UFL guy, no shot of making the roster, but I hope he does well, right? So, Kliff basically said, like, these guys aren't taking advantage of their opportunities, and some guys are a little bit more, but he said, like, if there was a bell cow, he would list a name. If there's a guy that is, clearly showing his name, he would mention that guy in a presser. Like, I don't think anyone's really standing out that much. But we also don't have 85 and 17 on the field. So it's not going to look great. By the way, linebacker Jordan McGee was back out at practice in pads. Another good sign. Can we count on you to be healthy by week 1? Can we count on you to use our packages that we had lined up for you last year in the defense? Can we count on you to be healthy for the game time? As of right now, no. He's healthy. He's back to healthy. But can we count on you during game time? I don't know. I don't think we can. Because he is hurt most of the time. His problem is not skill, like Dom Hampton. His problem is injuries. So they're not going to cut, those of you that are saying they're going to cut Jordan McGee, they're not. He has too much talent, but he needs to stay healthy. Now, if this year he's not healthy and he doesn't get many snaps on the field, we don't see anything from him, then maybe the next offseason they cut him. Because, listen, you're a 5th-round pick, you have tons of talent, but you just can't stay healthy. And sadly, that's something that sometimes that happens with players in the NFL. Okay. Let's get into the play-by-play. Linnell Willingham said, and by the way, this is not a lot. One thing that the PR team has done here with the Commanders, they've said, listen, you guys can't be putting up too many updates. And it sucks, but it's not the beat reporter's fault. The guys like Linnell Willingham, Zach Selby that do this, really appreciate you because this is all we get. But I understand the PR team, right? So he says, really nice play from Jacory Brooks. Tough catch in traffic. Heard Jacory Brooks had a really good day today. Word around the streets, Jacory Brooks had a really good day today. Had a few good catches. I think he had a touchdown. Again, this is an undrafted free agent getting a lot of reps with Jaden Daniels. And, normally undrafted free agents, they don't get a lot of reps with Jaden Daniels. So, with the starting quarterback. At any team. So, Linnell Willingham said, JD5 to Jacory Brooks on a deep crosser for a big gain. So another catch, another big game for Jacory Brooks. He had a tough catch in traffic, and now he has a deep crosser for a big game from JD5. Jacory Brooks looked good today. This is the one name I've been hearing. I mean, I've heard he's dropped the football a lot, but he's a guy that I think that once you get under the lights or once you get into game time, I think that he'd be the player that would show up. Like, he's kind of a guy that during practice, but during games, he shows up. And that's what he did Friday night. We'll see what he has to do. Something interesting here. Strong words of encouragement from Ryan Kerrigan to Javon Kinlaw. I know you're going to be violent, he says. If you get your technique down, you'll be a Pro Bowler. So I'm excited for Javon Kinlaw. Sorry, I keep saying it the wrong way. Javon Kinlaw. Really excited for him. Really excited for what he has this year. Kinlaw is going to be, I think, a big difference maker this year. They paid him the most money of any free agent this year. $30 million guaranteed, $45 million is what they gave him. He's going to make what? There's a few people of a crowd saying, why'd you pay Kinlaw so much? this year he's only going to take up like $8 million against the cap. And for a good edge rusher, good pass rusher, that's not a lot. So he's not taking up much. We need him to be good, though. We need him to be the best he's ever been in his career. His best is yet to come here in Washington, I do believe. He looks really good. Ryan Kerrigan says that he looks really good as well. Let me see if I can find any other observations from today's practice. We're going to see if we can find and go on the hunt for any observations. Well, Nick Allegretti did talk about Terry McLaurin, so let me get you that. It's mid-August. Terry McLaurin still has not practiced. What's the concern level? I talked to some of Terry's teammates from after today's practice. They said nothing we can do about it. Just got to keep going. All that stuff will work itself out. So let me see if we can get some observations from today's practice. See if anybody has anything to say. No, it doesn't look like much. I'll check. Hopefully we get some of these observations. No, so not much today. It wasn't a big day. Jacory Brooks had a good day. Terry McLaurin still hasn't practiced. JP Finley, let's see what he has to say. Interesting thing to watch Monday night. Bill Merritt is a kick returner. Like Austin Eckler says, running backs got to make yourself sticky to a roster, and that means special teams. Okay, so let's get into... one more update here. Good kicking session for Matt Gay. Went 5 of 5, and last one looked 50+. Good to see. I heard Matt Gay's been really struggling through practice, and he obviously missed that one Friday night. Gave us a lot of false hope. So let's see what he's got, man. Yeah. So Matt Gay made a field goal to end practice. Jaden Daniels did have a nice throw to Zach Ertz, as we've been hearing. JP Finley put it as a route clinic from Zach Ertz. So Zach Ertz is him still. All right. So Joe Whitt Jr. said the first thing he said about Jeremy Reaves. He said he just keeps making plays on defense. It's hard to pull him from his special teams role, but Whitt wants to find a spot for him in the secondary. Dude, Friday night, Jeremy Reaves, he looked perfect. I mean, that man, Jeremy Reaves, was hitting anything. If it was a teammate in his way, he would hit him Friday night against the Patriots. He came out smacking dudes. Pause. So, he looked really good Friday night. We'll see coming into more of a defensive role this year. I'm excited to see what he's got. Joe Whitt Jr. also talked about the Patriots preseason. He said the effort was there, but the details were not. Apparently, they didn't pay attention to their schedule. Like, you have a game Monday night, and you're playing the Bengals, and then, Tuesday, I think they had an off day or something. Wednesday was the joint practice, I do believe. So, and then you have a preseason game, that Saturday. So, I think the Ravens are the ones that backed out, but I don't know the full details. I don't think Quinn would have backed out, because when Quinn scheduled the joint practice, he knew the schedule for the team. So I don't think he backed out. Joe Whitt Jr. addressed the media. He said, as we're talking about right now, said the defense had some really good practices, rushing well and working together as a unit. Good to hear from the defense. They look good this year. I think they're going to stop the run. I think they're going to be better this year. I do. Zach Selby, this is off the Joe Whitt Jr. topic now. He said a lot of work for Debo today, getting a lot of looks in different spots on the field and coming up with some impressive plays. Debo Samuel has great plays every day, but is this something that we need to worry about? Like, are they trying to use Debo in different spots because they're worried about Terry showing up? I don't know. But Zach Selby also put good execution by the Commanders starting offense on a screen to Debo, working against the second team defense. So, again, getting Debo Samuel the football. Okay, so I think we pretty much covered everything. Let's finish this out with the Terry McLaurin conversation. We'll touch on this, every day. It is August, It is August 15th today, and there's still no extension done. There's seemingly no progress. I'm getting worried, but I think I kind of agree with Grant Paulson. I love Terry McLaurin, and I respect him. I think he should get his money. He did it all last year for the offense with Jaden Daniels. He was the only weapon besides Zach Ertz, too. And a few other guys as well. But he deserves his money after what happened last year. Just picturing last year, all the peaches and cream that we had last year. Like, we're in August and Terry McLaurin hasn't practiced. It's just hard to imagine. It's hard to believe. It's hard to see for me. But I think Terry McLaurin, he has a job to do. No matter what you're getting paid, you have to show up. And at this point, I think you start to show up. Listen, if I'm Terry McLaurin, I guess I would hold out to the absolute, to I cannot anymore. But if you hold out games this year, you're ruining your career because you don't have anything to show this season if you hold out the whole year. You have nothing to show, you lose your step, and you ruin your career. Was a few $1 million worth that? Now, we've been getting reports that the Commanders are offering $28 million, or they could get up to offering that. I think Terry McLaurin, take the $28 million now, because one thing about Adam Peters, he does not budge. If you're Terry McLaurin, you have to take the $28 million now, because one day, if Terry McLaurin doesn't accept it, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to move back down to $26 million, you're not going to take it. And Terry McLaurin's going to be like, no, hold up. I want the $28 million. I'm going to take the $28 million right now. So, that could very well be what it's like. And at some point, you got to realize, like, if you want to get paid, just take the money. And here's the other thing. Why would the Commanders offer Terry McLaurin more than $28 million? Why would they do that? Because you can offer Terry McLaurin $28 million right now, and you can get an extension done and feel all happy about yourself. But if you're the Commanders and you don't get an extension done, that's better for you. Who cares? Who cares if you're the Commanders? You don't need money. You're saving money. And you're ultimately going to pay Terry McLaurin not much this year. $18 million for the wide receiver that he is. And it's going to be next year already, and we're going to have another year of Terry McLaurin under our belt, probably going to do the same thing that he did last year, which was a really productive, solid season. And Adam Peters is going to say, okay, I'm going to franchise tag you for $28 million. They have to pay him $28 million that year if they franchise tag him. They do. They have to do that. So why would Adam Peters pay Terry McLaurin over $28 million now if he could just wait and pay him $28 million next year? Why would Adam Peters pay him $30 million right now? Think about that. He's cheating himself out of something. So the team has all the leverage, and they are the ones working this ship. Terry McLaurin has no leverage. Terry McLaurin has emotional strings to my heart. He's my favorite Commander ever. Obviously, I haven't watched much football since before 2013. So that's my favorite player, but at the end of the day, it's business, and Terry McLaurin has no leverage. So that's going to do it for me today on this episode of the Training Camp Recap. I believe that was day 14, Monday Night Football on the horizon. I cannot wait. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'm out.